My name is Minister John Ruland III, and I have an online church. And if you want to go to YouTube and you can look it up, you can put my name in. It's John, and it's Ruland. And the name of the church is the Changers Church. So you can look that and you can find that on YouTube. Now, there's three things that I would like to explain to you today that might help you in life. And that is explain yourself. And the next one is your safe zone. And the third one is within your free will to choose. Now, the first one is explain yourself. Now, that's really kind of interesting because women will explain themselves when they say yes or no if they want to do something. Men do not. So for the woman has to ask the man, why did you say no, or why did you say yes, to understand their logic of why they said yes or no. You might ask him, well, can we meet tomorrow? And the first thing he says is no. And he leaves it at that. He doesn't tell you that he has a doctor's appointment, or he has to work all day, or there's something else going on that you don't know about. So you have to ask him, okay, why did you say no? And get him to talk to you and get you to understand what has to be done that is so important that he can't meet you. Now, the second one is your safe zone. Now, that can be a broad range of many things. Your work, the way you drive, your family, even if you have a religion, you could become in a safe zone. So if somebody comes up and tries to get you to understand something new, you're in your safe zone and you don't want to hear it. And so it's really kind of interesting when all of a sudden you realize that if somebody comes up and tries to explain something new, or if you get a new job, all of a sudden you're out of your safe zone and you really don't want to hear it. Well, if you get a new job, you have to. Because now you have to talk to the boss and get to know the new job. And you're out of your safe zone. But soon enough, as you get used to the job and you get to know everything about it, then you go back into your safe zone. And everybody has one, whether they understand it or have it. So the next one really is kind of even more interesting because if your free will to choose, that's really kind of interesting because now this is a lot of controversy, but the thing is, I understand that God is real because he lives within me. So my perspective and outlook on life is a lot different than others that don't have that built-in personality. So your free will, God gave us free will to choose. And if he didn't, we would be like robots. So it's really important that throughout our lives, we make choices within our free will to live out our lives the way we want. Now, if we find somebody else that wants the same thing as you do, things will work. And the best part of a relationship is your best friend. Treat them like that. And when you have children, you will understand that your love of your children is unconditional. Your wife or husband should be thought that way. Unconditional love for each other. That means you will live out your lives together. And before you get married, ask the 100 questions, you can get online and find that, about each other. And then when something comes up throughout life, you will know what to do. Like, you should sit down and talk about your parents. What will happen to your parents when they get old and they can't take care of themselves anymore? Are you going to step in, both of you, and take care of that parent as their guardian? Or if there's other children, which one will take care of mom and dad? You have to sit down and talk with them too, to make sure that everybody's on the same page, so when this happens, everybody will know who's going to take care of who, unless they change their mind. But normally, if you can get and sit down with your brothers and sisters and figure out which one is going to take care of your parents on both sides, the husband talks to his brothers and sisters, and the wife will talk to her brothers and sisters to find out what's going to happen with each side's parents. So when the time comes, you'll know exactly what's got to be done, and there'll be no arguments because it's already taken care of. It's like, what religion will you teach your children? If you do it right away and set it up, there won't be no arguing. So basically, you want to sit down and talk about everything. Even the vehicle you drive, the house you live in or apartment, and even the city that you want to live in. You have to all discuss that. How many children, what type of vehicle. More likely, if you have more than one, you're going to have to get a minivan or a truck with a dual door truck, but that's so high up the kids can't get in, so you're going to have to end up getting a minivan and a truck. That's if you can afford it. Now, the first of it, you both want to work. Now, the reason is because you can save some money, and don't live like, you got to have a $150 pair of boots when you can go to anywhere and get them for $20 or $30, and save the money, put it away. So when the children come, she doesn't have to work that much, and she can raise the children and take care of them. This is what the problem is. A lot of the babysitters raise the children while each one of you work. All you're doing is paying the babysitter, one of you. So, one of you are going to have to get a good job. And so that way, that one there can pay the bills and live within your means. Your grocery shopping, set up meals. And sometimes, your parents don't help none as you're growing up, because a lot of times, your mom doesn't set up meals, and she just does shopping whenever she needs something, and then all of a sudden she don't realize that she spent $500 a month on food. You can live a lot cheaper than that. So you also got to remember that do what you want to do. Now, if you have a spouse, you're going to have to compromise. Like the old man said, he says, you want to be right or do you want to be married? And sometimes that is the truth. Now, the most important person in the household is the woman. If she gives up on you and the children, later on there will be a divorce because she gives up. Now, if she doesn't give up on you and the children, she will be a best mother for you and the children. And then you also have to talk about many things. Make sure you get date night twice a week, at least twice a week or more. That way you can sit and talk about all the stuff that's going on, and if there's something going on within the family or something that's going on, you can sit and talk about it. Talk about it. Don't yell and scream because it ain't going to get you nowhere. Remember, the man's going to be wrong. Even if he's right, he's still wrong. So, and the women will say, yeah, you're right. Because she's in charge of the house. She cooks, cleans, and your job is also to work, but also to help around the house. She has the kids, and that's the worst job there ever was, is to watch one or two children during the day, because they run around all day long. It's very hard to keep track of them. It's like, she has to constantly run after them. Now, when they're young in a playpen, that's the best, is because you know where they're at, and they're not talking back yet. That's the best part right there. Until you teach them to talk and walk. Then you're going to have to put up barriers, and you're going to have to keep them busy. Now remember, when they're that age, their memory will change every 5 minutes. So if they're screaming and want something, all you have to do is distract them. And if they're hollering for a toy, go in and get 3 or 4 more toys, different ones. And then if you can find the other one, find it and give it to them. But in the meantime, they'll play with those and they'll forget all about it usually. Even in a store. I used to take with the kids, I knew their memory was 5 minutes long. So I would go by the toys on purpose. And the first thing they would do is start screaming. So I'd go back where the toys were, and I'd find a $1 toy and pass it to them. And they played with that all the time I was in the store. And of course I bought it so they could take it home. So I want to kind of recap. Now, make sure to explain yourself. I don't care if you're going to the store or wherever you're going for the man. Make sure you explain where you're going. And basically, if you can, you'll be back at a certain time. The reason is if something happens to the children, something happens to your parents, that person, your spouse, can get a hold of you. And she knows when you're going to be back. And do that. Make sure you're home when you say you're going to be. Be truthful. Never lie to her. I don't care how bad it is. Never lie to her. Same way with her. Never lie to him. Be always truthful no matter how bad it is. Now, your safe zone. That's really kind of interesting. Make sure to always do things outside of your safe zone. Never stop learning. Never stop learning. Remember that. And within our free will, we can choose what we do every day, where we can live, where we can work, what we drive for a vehicle, even if we have a religion, to even change religions. I always like to say, if your religion doesn't change you, change your religion. Thank you for today, and may everyone find what they're looking for.